Welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of season 1 of MixItUp Podcast, joined by your MixItUp Podcast host, Nicholas D. In this podcast, I'm going to be talking about my COVID-19 memories. Think of it documentary style. First off, just as a reminder, you can find my podcast anywhere. And for those of you watching the video style on YouTube, with the camera right here, hello, I'm waving. Please subscribe. There's that red subscribe button down below. Like what I'm always saying in my YouTube videos. For those of you who are driving, thanks for listening to this podcast in the car. Or for those of you, listening in on the TV or headphones or whatever, or even on your laptops at work. Also, when you do get a chance to comment on the YouTube channel version, so for those of you watching this on the camera and watching me waving, please do so. Please comment. But not when you are driving and focusing on the road. That being said, if you need to focus on the road, sorry, I've got a little cough here. If you're wondering why I'm coughing there, I got a little off traffic there, but off topic, blah, 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 there. But, so for those of you that are listening into this on the road, for those of you that need to focus on the road, this podcast can wait. Don't listen to me distracting you. Yeah, I'm distracting you here, I'm distracting you here. And I've got a smile on my face for those of you watching the YouTube version of this. And you've also got birds chirping in the background. Eventually, I am gonna get a manual microphone, and there have been some editings to my script as well here. That being said, if you need to focus on the road, which I've said a billion times by now, so you're listening to me repeat things. I mean, this is what MixItUp is all about. Like I was talking about in the last podcast, you never know what's gonna happen. This podcast, I am trying to knock your socks off with an entertaining show and make you laugh at me telling jokes, because driving is more important than listening to me telling jokes, apparently. I remember going to Spain in November of 2019, and I remember going to Spain in November of 2019, and for those of you watching in person, here's a photo. Here's some photos from that trip here. I'm not going to show all of them. It's hard to believe that is in 2019. And then, jeez. What did I do? I don't have any training here, so sorry. Just bear with me. This isn't part of what I had in mind in my script anyways. I'm trying to read off of my script now instead of adding things. At the beginning for the intro, I did add some things that were not in my script. Sorry about that. Man, I need some training here. Sorry, just bear with me. Like I said in my last podcast, in my last episode, I'm still new to this and still learning this. So, still in the, pouring the concrete, I haven't built up any of the studs for the house yet. So just bear with me here. But that being said, during Thanksgiving and everything at that point was fine. Then we had a normal thing, December, and went to see Hamilton when it came to Indianapolis. Then January 2020 happened, and it was all normal. But people started talking about this crazy virus. At the time, they called it, the new virus or the novel virus or this virus thing, etc., etc. My English teacher explained to us the theory of the pangolins, bats, and explained that people are having to quarantine and actually use that for one of our vocab words. Zoe Sitzman, from my school in Indianapolis, Noah Peterson from Noah the Wife-In. If you're watching this, you know her. Alex, who's been in my stat Zoom meetings with me, and Noah has as well. And Noah's got this Noah the Wife-In 2005 channel. Please subscribe to him, by the way. They would know who I'm talking about. Or even for my teacher that could be watching this. In February, we had a normal month too. With it on the news, and people were like speculating on what would happen if if we had to quarantine. Guys, please give me a like. I'm doing this with some springtime allergies here. I also remember watching a whole lot of Justin Scard in February when I first discovered that YouTube channel. At the end of February, Friday, February 28th, 2020, we went to Mexico to have a weekend in Mexico. Some people on the plane were wearing masks, but not us. People were a lot worried about coughing, Hey, I guess my cough does go well with the theme of this, by the way. And why do I keep sidetracking? Come on, Nicholas. Come on here. Well, I guess that is the goal of MixItUp Podcast. Then, just 2 weeks later, on Wednesday, the 11th, not the 12th, Wednesday, March 11th, 2020, IU, Indiana University, Bloomington, shuts down. And then on Thursday the 12th, I have a normal day at school. And then at dinner, my parents tell me that tomorrow, which at the time, of course, Friday, March 13th, 2020, that tomorrow, in relation to Thursday, March 12th, 2020, Friday, March 13th, 2020. Okay, everyone, get something here. Ready? I won't spoil it. I'll give you a moment here. Do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Friday the 13th, everyone. You know what Friday the 13th is? Chaos is gonna happen when there's Friday the 13th. And that's what happened there, I think. Will be the last day in the building, in the school building in person, which was an optional attendance. There were some people that did not attend. And most of us did go to school on that day just to get textbooks and instruction for email learning and all that stuff. Then, after that, we were supposed to just have a few weeks until mid-April. But then March progresses. We do email-only instruction. I enjoy watching YouTube and remember my parents had Dinnerly, a company to deliver dinners. We used a company called Green Bean Delivery for groceries and all of that. I enjoyed looking at my yearbooks each night, and all of them. Speaking of which, I might do a video on my main channel related to my yearbooks. I'm not sure. But back to the podcast here. I drank hot peppermint tea all the time and using the Family Mac late 2012 edition Mac Mini, the one that I started the Searching for the Future series on a few months later in June of 2020. I also remember watching Shroom on YouTube, listening to music, and walking on the golf course with my dad. There's one morning, Thursday, March 26th, which was a Thursday, me and my dad went out on that foggy Indianapolis morning and we took photos and just enjoyed the golf course. And for those of you that want the sense of what that foggy Indianapolis morning's weather is like, I'm gonna pull up Wonderground here. Weather Underground here. Okay, I should have probably pulled up all these. I should have probably pulled these up before I began recording this. March 26th, 2020. This is what the weather is like. I think it is around in between here, like 46, 45, 46, 48, 50, somewhere around there, foggy. This, Uh-huh. But back to the story here. I remember when I did look at my yearbooks, I remember the memories of my elementary school. And I was thinking how it's interesting that how I had, a regular elementary school life, and then all of a sudden, almost, like a decade later, 10 years later, all of that, we were living through history. And I remember drinking the chocolate milk from True that my those cartons with jokes on them. Hopefully some of you remember those too. I also remember playing on the computer all the time during that early phase and enjoying Google Maps and Google Earth and all of that. April then came. I remember watching a whole lot of What's Inside and What's Inside family videos because I found that YouTube channel in April. I remember watching videos of their new house that they had built and moved into just a month before in March of 2020. And the 1 week spring break that we were supposed to have then became 2. We also had a tornado in April on one of the nights. And then the next day we were able to do a long father and son walk on the golf course because of Indiana's golf courses had to close due to COVID-19. School then resumed for me on Monday, April 20th, 2020. And that is when we began doing Zoom. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays were videos that we had to watch. I assume Noah and Alex remember. I assume Noah's watching this. Please subscribe to Noah the Y fan. He's 2005. He's my friend. And then I just did emailing the rest of the day or whatever work it was that I had. Thus, it wasn't a hefty load due to all of the, chaotic chaos, yada, yada, yada. April then continued, and it felt like 2 months or 3 or whatever. I couldn't count because of the infinity effects, the on and on effects of that month. May came. May was interesting. May continued to be like April. One interesting thing about May of 2020 is that our neighbor behind us had a garage fire. And despite all of the chaos and challenges and left and right and world being flipped upside down, people were able to get together while staying safe from COVID-19 and help the fire situation by using some sort of like neighborhood Facebook page or whatever. Luckily, our neighbors stayed safe and survived the fire and built a new garage. One of the other neighbors said that apparently it wasn't the only time that garage had a fire. And then school ended. May was an okay month, and just like April, and it had its ups and downs. Summer break came, but before I begin my summer break of 2020, I want to thank the sponsor of this podcast, myself. Do I even look like I have enough YouTube subscribers to have an actual sponsor? But anyway, I am sponsoring myself for this podcast. I wanted to say on my main channel, my main YouTube channel, I have a new video up now for. Oh, wait, I won't spoil it. I also have a YouTube Shorts channel as well with entertainment, all to make you laugh. Just like the motto of this podcast, which is a podcast of randomness. Mix it up is my phrase, and I mean it. Because you never know what to expect. There is always some sort of surprising and exciting surprise full of entertainment that I've got up my sleeve. This is all to entertain you all when you are bored. Also, my friend Noah, who has been on all of the stream vlogs on my main channel, and also some of my SAT Zoom meeting videos at the beginning, has started a new YouTube channel called Noah the Roy Fan 2005. So please subscribe to him as well, as he needs some subscribers too. Now, let's see here. Where was I? A zombie apocalypse? Maybe. I don't know. Hmm. Have I done everything? Let's see. That yes. Check. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. Yep, I got everything. Oh. But wait, I was just getting started with the way with my summer break portion of this podcast. Pass me the script, editor. Mr. Editor of this podcast. Please subscribe to this podcast and stay tuned, because this is the funniest and most entertaining podcast ever. And I think you can agree. Okay. Okay, so enough silliness. By the way, I have a joke. Want to hear a joke about construction? I can't finish it. I have a joke about construction, but I can't finish it. Darn, shoot. I said no more silliness. I have to get back to the podcast and entertain people and make them laugh. I can't have jokes in here. No jokes on here. I am not funny like that. Do I like funny like that? No, I don't. My goal is to be funny and make people laugh and entertain them. However, my goal is not to be funny and make people laugh and entertain them. I just hope they are laughing at me saying this. Also, any idea why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use honeycombs. Stop using jokes, editor, please, or else I will take control over this podcast. Not because I am not, because I myself am the editor of this podcast. And that joke scene and scene about me ranting about why jokes shouldn't be part of this podcast was all meant to be part of this podcast to make everyone laugh and entertain people and make their day. So for whoever's listening to this or watching the YouTube video version of this, please, I hope you are enjoying this and laughing and thought that whole drama scene, that little scene was funny. So back to my COVID-19 summer. I remember walking up and down the streets in my neighborhood and golf courts. And that's when I started doing the Searching for the Future series in June of 2020. And even Sunday Funnies, which reminds me, they are coming back for those of you who are wondering. And that is a series on my main channel for those of you who are wondering what the heck, who are new to this. I also remember walking on the golf course, and I remember vlogging on it and all of that. I remember a trendy video on my channel that I remember enjoying the nice weather and just thinking how historic the whole COVID-19 was and that I was living through COVID. I remember all the entertainment videos that I watched. June was also the month where I learned what WWDC and or really any Apple events was, because they had to live stream WWDC, of course, COVID-19, the whole topic of this whole documentary thing. And I learned who Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, is. I also remember watching Unbox Therapy and other videos about buying MacBooks, and that is how I chose this very laptop that I'm making this podcast on right now. July was interesting. 4th of July, virtually. I also got to see the Hamilton on Disney Plus with my parents. That was also the month where a lot of core things happened in my summer break. Though there were a whole lot, and some of which are personal, and I don't want to share because of that, and the fact that July had to go quickly. If you remember July 2020. Okay, maybe I'm the only one that okay. August was Justin Scard, a YouTuber I like, month. I watched a whole lot of Justin Scard. I remember that in August 2020, I listened to He Like That by Fifth Harmony and Let You Go 8 Tracks remix by the Chainsmokers and more. Not going to share them all because of time. 25 minutes in. But that's okay. And you know what? If you want to know about the 2020-2021 school year, basically August, where I was just at, onwards in this special COVID-19 documentary series of MixItUp Podcast, you will have to wait, but not for that long though. I am hoping to have it done by Easter Sunday, 2023, within less than a week or to go. Hope you enjoyed this, what feels like lengthy podcast. I think it is more lengthy doing all the script thing. And I will see everyone in the next podcast.